Bet you'll never guess which religion we're talking about in this video. Let's play a guessing game that might just blow your mind. First clue, by the 1st century CE, this faith had spread throughout the entire Roman Empire, from Britain to Africa, from Spain to Syria. Still stumped? Second clue, as early as the 1st century BCE, the Roman Senate repeatedly ordered its temples demolished. But each time, officials pretended they didn't hear. That's how many fanatics it had. Not clear yet? Final clue. Emperor Tiberius crucified its priests and banished followers from the capital. Sounds like the story of early Christians, right? Wrong. This is the cult of Serapis and Isis. Yes, it was one of the most scandalous cults of antiquity. Well then, let's begin. Sex, crosses, and conspiracy. The faith they tried to erase. The cult's roots lie in ancient Egypt. Isis was the great mother goddess, wife of Osiris and mother of Horus. She symbolized loyalty, magic, and the protection of children. Everything would have stayed on the banks of the Nile if not for those enterprising Greeks. Alexander's campaign was perhaps the only military venture that brought the world not just blood and ruins, but cultural wealth. From the fragments of his empire, Ptolemy I had an idea. Why not merge the gods? Perfect for a multinational state. They took Osiris, added Zeus, mixed in the sacred Apis bull, and voila, a new god, Serapis. The name might sound odd to English speakers, but for Greeks and Romans, this was a respectable deity who became the heart of a new cult and rival to future Christianity. The cult of Isis and Serapis was simultaneously a strict religion and genuine entertainment. Every morning, priests washed the gods' statues, distributed sacred Nile water, and shook bronze sistra, basically ancient maracas. The main festival was Navigium Isidis, or Ship of Isis. They launched a lavishly decorated ship, praying for the goddess's protection. It looked like a mix of religious ritual and ancient carnival, complete with music, costumes, and probably epic hangovers the next day. Then there were the secret mysteries. Candidates had to fast, confess, and participate in symbolic death and resurrection. The payoff? A promised personal meeting with the gods and salvation of the soul. Not a bad offer, even by today's standards. The cult spread across the empire faster than TikTok memes. Temples have been found in Athens, Ephesus, Antioch, and eventually Rome. It even reached Britain and Spain. Isis especially appealed to women. She was the goddess of family and motherhood. Slaves and freedmen flocked to her because she made no distinction between noble senators and former slaves. Sailors prayed to Isis before voyages, earning her the title Isis Pelagia, goddess of the seas. In Pompeii, a former slave who became wealthy rebuilt her temple. So the cult also functioned as a social elevator, religion that actually boosted your status. But here's the problem. The Roman Senate considered all this dangerous Eastern superstition. Augustus banned building Isis temples within the city's sacred boundary. Tiberius went all in. After a scandal broke, priests had used the temple to seduce married women. The emperor ordered the crucifixion of priests and demolished the temple. They threw the statues into the Tiber, presumably so they could float back to Egypt. But the people sided with the goddess. Under Caligula, the cult returned. Under Domitian, Rome built the massive Iseum Campense, a temple with Egyptian obelisks, Little Cairo in the heart of Rome. In the 2nd to 3rd centuries, the cult of Isis and Serapis reached peak popularity. It was revered by commoners, senators, and even emperors. Writer Apuleius describes his initiation to Isis in The Golden Ass. So enthusiastically, it reads like a travel brochure. She is the mother of all things. But everything changed with the rise of a new star, Christianity. In the late 4th century, Emperor Theodosius banned pagan cults. In 391 CE, a Christian mob led by Bishop Theophilus stormed Alexandria's Serapeum and razed it. Imagine, the main temple, equivalent to the Vatican in the pagan world, leveled to the ground. The last temple of Isis on Philae Island was closed by Emperor Justinian. This was the final chord, the end of one of antiquity's most vibrant religions. But the idea didn't die. The image of Isis with baby Horus too closely resembled Mary with baby Jesus. Titles like Queen of Heaven and Mother of God smoothly migrated into Christian tradition. The belief in a merciful intercessor accessible to everyone, from slave to emperor, also survived. They just prayed to Mary and saints instead of Isis. During the Renaissance, Isis was pulled back into the light as a symbol of ancient wisdom and eternal nature. Apparently, civilization never quite managed to get rid of her completely. The cult of Isis and Serapis traveled from humble Egyptian temples to worldwide phenomenon. It was banned, burned, destroyed, but left a deep mark on culture and religion. So here's a question for you. Do you see traces of ancient Isis in the image of the Virgin Mary? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss. Maybe such parallels are the most enduring legacy of ancient cults.